Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in the community. So pleased to have a return appearance from the East County Transitional Learning Center. Joining us is the CEO, Dr. Julie Hayden. How you doing, Julie?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, that's great content. We had to have you come back over here, joined by your colleagues, Tyrone Moore, a graduate, and he's the intake coordinator. How you doing, Tyrone?
I'm doing fine.
Good. We're going to ask a whole bunch of questions about your experiences with the Learning Center, and also joined by a colleague of both of yours, Jon Roberdes. He is a lead campus advisor and a recent graduate. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Start with you, Julie, just in general, what's the mission of the organization?
Mission of the organization is in Christ, transforming lives, restoring relationships, and healing communities. And that's exactly what happens on campus every day.
Right, exactly. So how many people do you serve? Is it pretty much a day program? Is there a residence program?
People live there, so it would service those that are homeless in San Diego, and we are located in East County.
Right.
And they're homeless. They have the choice of either 28 days, which is emergency housing, a fast turnaround, or a 1-year program. And the 1-year program would allow them to find a job, get independent, hopefully build a relationship with God. And we have a high success rate of people that graduate never going back to homelessness.
That's great. Now, so for the 1 year, they are residents are living, correct?
They're living there. Mm-hmm.
Living there. Where exactly are you in El Cajon?
Our largest campus is right on East Main Street.
Okay.
And then we have about 4 or 5 other locations where people can live as well.
Right. You've been in business for how long?
Over 20 years.
20 years. How long have you been involved?
I've been there 2.5 years.
What got you involved with the center?
Well, God's timing of that opportunity coming when we had a drug treatment program closed down. Mm-hmm. And what really cemented it was standing on the campus, and it's a motel, and you have individual rooms in a U, and just knowing I've got 90 families in these rooms that were homeless. And that really got to me, to make that impact with that many families at once.
Right, exactly. So, Tyrone, how did you get involved with this?
Well, I actually went through the program.
Right.
Make a long story short, I came from Miami, Florida, didn't know nobody in California, just stepped out in faith.
Okay.
And did the homeless thing for probably about 2 weeks. Then I was at the bus stop and someone told me about East County Transitional Living Center. I went through the program, but midway through the program, I went to school for a peer support specialist, took the state exam. I'm state certified now, and now I work for ECTLC as an intake manager. And what I went through, I help people come through, basically paying it forward.
Right. So here you are. You just came from the East Coast. You've been here 2 weeks in homeless. Someone tells you about these kind of transitional learning center, and you go, all right, I got to try this thing out. All right. So explain what your first day was like.
Well, the first day, the first day everyone would have
your head is spinning, right?
Yeah, not knowing what's going to happen.
Right.
But one thing I say, and this is what I offer to the people that's coming in, that what I was offered was comfortability. That's what really set the tone with me when I first came through. The comfortability of the people being friendly, people being nice, catering to me, not serving, but just catering to me. And then that's what I offer because I know how it made me feel.
Right. So now you're on day 1, and then did you stay for a year? Did you stay for 28 days? Which part did you do?
Oh, well, I went through the single man program,
okay.
So I completed the whole year.
The whole year, okay. So they're now explaining to you, you're fresh, off of homeless for 2 weeks, came from the East Coast, and they're saying this is what you have to do. What's your feeling at the time?
Well, really, it was kind of, like I said, not knowing what's in store.
Right.
But once I started going through the program, getting comfortable, seeing the curriculum that they offer and seeing what the program actually has to offer, it leveled me out. Then once I got to the point where I'm leveled out, I was like, okay, this is what I need.
Right. So what did you learn the most from the program?
I'm going to tell you the one thing that impacted me the most. Everyone has their different what impacts each person. The one thing that impacted me the most that I'll say is the first phase of the program is titled Stability. So that's what actually impacted me, because the stability, the first 90 days, you're not allowed to leave property. They basically want you to focus on yourself. That focusing on myself without no worries, without worrying about where I'm going to eat, not worrying about where I'm going to sleep, that gave me time to really think without no worries on my mind. And the first 90 days is what, and me personally, that's what impacted me, because I got a chance to think about my past and I started noticing things that I didn't even notice before.
Right. So we're going to get back to you on that one here. So, John, talk about your experiences. When did you get involved with it? How did you find out about it, this Learning Center?
Well, starting off from the beginning, my wife and I both went through the program. We're both recent graduates this past November.
Congratulations.
We came from 4+ years of homelessness here in San Diego, all the way from North County down to El Cajon. And Tyrone did my intake over a year ago. And
nice.
My wife started a week before me and said, you need to come into this program. This program's going to work. And so when we got in there, I saw the community it's a real community inside there. It's brothers and sisters in Christ, and how everybody was just so happy. And I hadn't seen that in any programs around here. And so it was really special to me. It also brought out wanting to be a part of it. But the main thing I got from it was I saw the security that it gave us, because homelessness in San Diego, being on the streets, that's the first thing you need, is security and feeling safe. So when we felt safe, I knew we could run with this and just say, okay, this is how we're going to get off the streets and get out of our problems, our addictions, and handle some traumas that we had experienced and needed to heal from.
So, Tyrone was working with you, correct? Does everybody have a certain type of is it a counselor? What's the term that Tyrone, is it just an advisor? How does that work?
So he was the intake coordinator,
Right.
which is that first touch point.
Okay.
And that's really important to help people feel safe and comfortable.
Right.
But it's basically a case manager.
Right.
So there's 2 layers. Case managers are often employees. Sometimes they're not. They're participants that are in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But the case manager is meeting with them to make sure they know how to do the program well. And then under that is a campus advisor. And so campus advisors are still in the program. They're participants, but they've shown leadership skills, and they might have 6 months or so under their belt. They turn around and help others coming in brand new. So they have 2 levels of support right when they come in.
Right. And so now John is a lead campus advisor. And is your wife also a lead campus advisor?
She was a campus advisor for the single women. So we were in a unique situation to where when families come in with children, they're on the family side of the program. We came in and we're a married couple, but since we do not have children, we go single side. So she went with the single women's side, I went with the single men's side. And that's where I met my brothers. And I became in leadership on the single men's side and built up helping men come in and let them know about the program, let them know the benefits that they can happen for them. And also in leadership, we start getting into curriculum and helping teaching classes and life skills.
No, that's fantastic. We're chatting with our friends from the East County Transitional Learning Center, Dr. Julie Hayden. She's the CEO, joined by her colleagues, Tyrone Moore. He is a graduate and intake coordinator, joined by his colleague, Jon Roberdes, the lead campus advisor. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community. Julie, when you see these stories, okay, and there are a lot of these stories in this area, and obviously 2 great folks here that are just not lifting themselves, which they've done, of course, as all the families, and the touch point on this. I'll start with you on this. We say this quite a bit on our Spotlight show. It's not just the one person that you're helping. It's their entire network of folks, right? So while you may help certainly Tyrone and you helped certainly John and his wife, it's everybody that's connected to them is going to benefit. Talk about that.
Sure. That's actually our model. In a Christian worldview, you might say discipleship, but you could also call it mentorship. And really what we're teaching people in their life, how to pull out themselves out of homelessness and stay self-sustaining, is the same skills everybody needs in life. And so we're teaching them, but we're modeling it. And then we're telling them, teach those around you, your family, your kids, your extended family. And so we want that multiplication of the good content everybody needs on how to live a good life.
Right, exactly. When we come back from break, we're going to talk more with Tyrone and Jon about their experiences and where they'd like to see, the Learning Center go moving forward. Of course, we always have time in the second half of the interview on what our listeners can do to support your efforts as well. Maybe talk about some of the challenges, and obviously you've got a minimum of 2 of the great success stories when we return with the East County Transitional Learning Center. Dr. Julie Hayden, Tyrone Moore, and Jon Roberdes. I'm Drew Schlosberg. We'll be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. So pleased to have a return appearance from the East County Transitional Learning Center, Dr. Julie Hayden, CEO, with 2 of her fine colleagues, Tyrone Moore, a graduate and intake coordinator, and Jon Roberdes, he's the lead campus advisor and a recent graduate with his wife. On this, I'll start with you on this, Julie, and then we'll pivot over to both Tyrone and to Jon in this area. You have many, many stories you can tell here. 2 are great ones right now. Are there others that just jump out at you that, boy, I was working with X, Y, and Z, and the amazing turnaround in this gentleman or this lady has been phenomenal? Is there one that just jumps out?
Yeah, it was actually a family that was escaping a country. They were getting persecution because they were Christian, and it was a Muslim country. So they came in as refugees, and they couldn't find anywhere else to go. So we were able to help them. And coming in, they didn't speak English well. It was very scary. You could see them not necessarily engaging at the beginning. And they were very sweet, though. Every time I saw them, they would wave, they would say hi, they would say thank you, and they just catch your attention. And when they graduated, they both had their driver's license, proper documentation. They both had their own jobs. They had paid for their own cars, and they had gotten a house for them and their kids. And for them to share back how far they got in a year. I mean, the gentleman shared a story. He was almost crying. I was almost crying. Like, that is amazing to see that. So that one stands out to me of just like what you can do in a year.
Well, I think when it comes to, and I think both Jon and Tyrone said it beautifully, is that you feel like you're belonged, that there are people that care for you. As Jon mentioned, you're secure. I mean, I don't know how you can do anything in life if you don't feel safe. That ball game over almost from the beginning on this in this area. And I think a lot of people talk about the issue of homelessness in our region. Our frequent guest is a longtime friend of mine, Deacon Jim Vargas, who runs Father Joe's Villages, who you folks know pretty well. And just people who have never been homeless can, if they want to even close their eyes and imagine what one night would be absolutely catastrophic, more or less 4 years, whatever the case. And really, credit to Jon and his wife, and of course Tyrone as well, for the resiliency, and know that things can change on this. And Tyrone, you're very well spoken. I don't know if that's something that you learned through the learning center, or you already had that when you came from back east at all. You got a great voice with you. Talk about how the Learning Center built up your confidence, and I'm sure it did.
Well, I think I've always been a reader.
Okay.
Just growing up.
Music to my ears, my friend.
Yeah, I've always been a reader on different topics and different situations. But I'll say with me, when I became an intake coordinator, I always noticed homelessness, but I was always the type that I just never really paid it any mind. But once from me doing intakes, I started noticing that because I'm what you would call a first responder. I catch them when they first come in, beat up, don't nobody. And as me doing intakes, I was the type of intake coordinator. I talk to them. I don't just get you in. I want to actually know your story. I want to know what got you homeless. And I started noticing just from doing intake that it was some people that they actually was good people. They just called bad breaks in life, rather divorces, rather relocating. And some of these people that we would look at and look down on, I would invite them to the barbecue. Like I would bring them around my family. But that's when my heart started. Then when you see somebody come in that's beat up and broke and just messed up, and then when you see them come in, go through the program, and a year later they end up like Jon. They end up like me. And then that's where my heart, when I see stories like that.
Well, it turns around, as we mentioned before, their lives personally, but everybody's life that is in their spectrum, so to speak, and in their orbit, and on that. And you hit something that we need much more in this world. That's humanity. We know that. And certainly the East County Transitional Learning Center is all about humanity. And looking at people as what they should be, and they're people. A lot of people give lip service to that, but don't do it. And obviously you guys execute this as well. And Jon, here you are, you and your wife, that pretty tough, years on the street and all this business. And now you are a lead campus advisor on this. You had mentioned this earlier. You probably get more satisfaction out of what you're doing now with these folks, and sometimes maybe what your journey yourself.
Yes, exactly. I feel I can meet the new participants where they're at because I've been through it, and I can absolutely relate with them when they come off the street and they don't look at me like somebody's like doesn't know what they're talking about. Said I was out there with you, and I know what it was like. And it can be very difficult to trust people. So when they come in, I let them know you can trust me because I was there with you, and I give them a broad spectrum of what's going to happen and what they can expect. And to show them my success story, to see how it really can affect you. It can affect your lives. And along with the women, my wife, Sarah, does the same thing. And she lets them know exactly, hey, this is how it helped my life and what to expect from the program. And this program is so unique that it's not just faith-based, which God and Christianity helped me and my wife with sobriety, but to have these life skills along with learning why what happened to us to get out there on the street. And everybody's story is different, So.
Yeah, I want to really pick up on, and to your point, Jon, what Tyrone said. And we all know this, especially in areas that are very expensive to live, San Diego being one of them. The amount of people that have fallen by the way because they lost their job and they were paycheck to paycheck, which there's a ton of them on this. Great citizens, good family people, but all of a sudden got a bad break or whatever the case may be, or had challenges with addiction and so forth. And all they just needed was that hand, to guide them in that aspect. Julie, that just must be just absolutely just music to your ears when you hear these stories.
It is. And there's so many. So really, it's a difficult work. It's a lot of difficult stories of people coming in and what they had to go through. But the healing is tremendous and their success is tremendous. And it was another colleague of mine that said this, but I'll use his words. He said, people look at homelessness as the problem, but they're actually their own solution. So those coming through this program, they get back into society and they give back in a powerful way. And that's the way to do it.
Exactly. So I'm going to put both Tyrone and Jon on the spot. I'll start with you, Tyrone, and so Jon can be thinking about the question ahead of time. So on this, you're doing what you're doing now. You are spokespeople certainly for the East County Transitional Learning Center. So and you do this anyway in the part of your jobs. But let's say now we're featuring you on a major worldwide television show, and say we got Tyrone Moore representing East County Transitional Learning Center. You've got about 60 seconds to talk about why this organization is so important. You're now on air. What do you say?
Well, first of all, I would say, I am a believer, so I would like to throw out there that Jesus made a statement. He said, homelessness will always be here. So that's something that's not going to be resolved. It's not because he spoke the word, so homelessness, but if we can minimize the numbers, I think that'll help everybody as a total. Because you get someone that's homeless, get them out of homelessness, now they're stable, they pay taxes, it brings up the property value, and everyone wins. And if East County Transitional Living Center, one of the organizations that's offering that, I mean, it helped me, and it'll help everything as a total, as a whole.
You did very, very well on this worldwide broadcast. Okay, Jon, you're up. The camera is on you, and action.
So I firmly believe this program can set a model for other programs out there on the correct way to do things, because there's been a lot of investment in homelessness and it seems like nothing's getting corrected fully. So I've seen this work. I've seen this work in many men and women and families over this past year. It's an absolute brilliant model and an awesome program. I give just all glory to God, and thank you so much for Julie Hayden for bringing this atmosphere into this program and giving my wife and I a new chance at life and how to do it right. And the integration with psychology and faith is absolutely revolutionary in our minds to do that, to not only find out why we were homeless, but what led us there with psychology, and to get therapy through that. Because there's a lot of trauma in this world that people don't understand what trauma really is. And when you get down to it and get in there and take that dive in to really find out who you are and what's going on in your life and how you can not just fix that, but heal from it and move on to, because tomorrow's going to come. We're like, what are you going to do with it? And a lot of homeless people out there just like, well, I don't have any support. I don't have any of this. You do. You have support not only through faith, but there are programs out here like this. And this program I really see on the ground floor of being revolutionized, not just over the country, but around the world on way to properly heal and be a productive citizen out there in the world.
Well, good, and hopefully this is the start of this expansion to make this a worldwide organization. Julie, we always save time, as you know, in the second half of the show to say what can our listeners do to support your efforts. So
Sure.
Have at it.
So there's a few, but as Jon said, the model works. So we have more people that get permanent housing than average programs, and we spend 10 to 20 times less. So we're very, very efficient and effective. So funding to increase capacity is always my goal. If there's somebody out there that could help. Otherwise, coming for a tour to see what we do, volunteering on campus, anything like motel would use, like comforters, sheets, people live there. So any of that helps us. If people just donate their clothes, their, anything that somebody would use to live, we could probably use it. So those are big ones. But if they want to come meet me in person and take a tour, meet Jon and Tyrone, their eyes would be open in what could be for the homeless situation in San Diego.
No, I think that's great. And what's the website?
ECTLC.org. ECTLC, like Tender Love and Care, sure. ECTLC.org.
No, that's great. Well, Julie, good seeing you again, and thank you for bringing in, these just phenomenal advocates. Tyrone and Jon, I appreciate you sharing your story. With you two folks working with Julie, there's only one way to go, but that's up with this phenomenal group. And no, this won't be the last time we'll have you on, Julie. We can't, shout out the great work that you're doing. Hopefully, will be amplified throughout San Diego County, and to all three of you, wishing you nothing but phenomenal success moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. In our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.